is that? Is that my book bag? So sorry, I just was noticing my book bag reflecting, and I don't think in the 4 years, 3 years I've had that thing, I don't think I've ever seen it do that before, so a little scary. This is just gonna be a video, a reflections video. As you may have already seen, oh, and by the way, the date right now, it's just flipped over to the new day. So right now at this very moment, it's Monday, May 5th, 2025, and it's 12:11 in the morning. As you may have seen, and by the time that anybody would see this, you would see these videos on my channel. I have described up until this point me being arrested, my thoughts, feelings, grievances, maddenings, confusions, all of that stuff surrounding the entire debacle. And by this point, May 5th, 2025, at 12:12 a.m. now, this is still going on. And it is still happening. You would see by this point another video I made where I go to court, and I had my court date, and there was some good news. I'm not going to prison. 15 years? Okay, yeah, for a thing that I didn't even do, that the state of Florida tried claiming that I did. Judge was like, absolutely not, and gave me a cool program to complete, and then the charges will get dismissed. So that's all good. You would have all seen that by this time. This video is meant to be a relatively shorter video. I'm trying to keep it under 15 minutes. But it's meant to be just reflections over the last... Oh my god, it's been since January, huh? Over the last, 4 months now that I've dealt with this. So, yeah. As of this moment, I'm doing pretty good. Right now, I have a job that I'm not really planning on keeping for very long. My goal is to move on to something that actually gives me full-time hours at some point. I'm not going to dox myself, not going to tell you where I work, but I make sandwiches, okay? I make sandwiches for $14 an hour. I'll give you that right at this very moment. Again, it's $14 an hour, and it's 30 hours a week or something, so it's really, really bad. And I'm desperately trying to get out of it. I applied to work at a job that is with a very good friend who I consider a brother, and I'm waiting on that to sort of do its thing and go through and all that good stuff, right? Okay. So, that is the deal, as of right now, anyway. I've had a lot of time to think about everything. There is a very, very, as far as like the incline of things, like I was on a high point, and then I got arrested. Everything was going really, really low, really, really low, really, really low. Then I had that good court date, and there was a slight uptick, and it maybe plateaued down there. And ever since that small plateau, things have been steadily rising upwards, but like in like micro amounts, like micro inches or something. Which is good, I think. Any progress is good progress, right? Progress over perfection is something that I've learned to kind of say. So, you're gonna watch me do this. Yeah, I bought this because I had money, and so I've been drinking it. Speaking of money, I have been completely and totally out of money since like late January. After I got arrested, I got my last paycheck from my previous job, and they took part of the shipping anyway, but I got that taken out, and I used that to pay for food and things. Luckily, my family was understanding, so they kind of massaged the rent around to make it all work. And then part of my family then lost their job, and so they've been looking for a job too. So financially, it hasn't really exactly been in the greatest spot here. I've been using my credit cards very irresponsibly so of me, and they're all maxed out. But because I don't have any money, I can't pay the minimum payments on the credit cards. I financed an instrument before I got arrested for my birthday in December. And I had to sell that to get bail money, but I haven't been able to make the payments on that either. So right now I'm about $4,000 in debt, which is great, which is, I'm alive and well. And then I have a phone bill I haven't paid since, I think I paid it with part of my last paycheck in February, and I haven't paid it since. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. None of that matters. I am alive and I'm well, even though I'm going to be drowning in debt for essentially the rest of the year. Losing my job during all of this basically made it to where, ruined the rest of the year, actually. I sort of almost knew this too. I knew I would be having to have financial trouble because of this. But luckily I have a very gracious and good family. And they have been totally having my back through this. I don't think I could ask for anything more than their patience and grace during this, really. So they've been lovingly and swimmingly helpful. So I can't even put into words how grateful I am of them. But yes, we are onward and upward. Again, I make sandwiches for $14 an hour for less than 30 hours a week currently right now. Trying to move on to a more 40-hour a work week job that pays me more. And the big motivation for this, frankly, truly, honestly, is because I want to continue making the video game that I was making. I can worry about the debt and I can figure out what's going on with all of that in due time. But I was 8 months into producing and creative directing and making the sound design for a video game. I had 4 other people helping me work stuff out. I had sprite assets, art, programming, all that good stuff. Yeah? And it was just not good. It felt truly defeating when I got out of jail and I had to send a message to the development Discord and say, hey, there's going to have to be a hard halt. I thought that was going to be the end of it, but then all of them came into the Discord and they were like, oh, we were making such good progress. I hope you're doing okay. This, that, those. And I was like, I really wish nobody replied to this. That was way back at the end of January or beginning of February, however long it took me to get out of jail. One of the first things I wanted to do was tell them kind of the very basic top level of what was going on. But that's currently the goal right now. Get a job, start whittling away at my debt, and then jumping back into that video game. That's been the whole thing. That's been one thing of 3 things that I've just been really vying to get back into, is that. I already told the people that I owe money because I couldn't pay them. Anyway, that I would double up on what I initially paid them and give them $500 each for what they were owed, plus on top of apology money, so $500 per person for what they owe and everything. Because frankly, I fucked up by not being able to pay them. I should have had some sort of back money or something. But no, it just wasn't. That's not really how it worked out. All in all, though, I am I'm trying to make it happen. Again, I'm like $4,000 in debt, which is great. Another, maybe not necessarily the greatest thing in the world, but something that is positive is that the family here signed our lease agreement just very recently. So we're good until next year for our lease. So that's good. Neat. It really does suck, though, having to completely restart the entirety of my existence with this. I really do hate it. I really, really do hate it. I really, really do. I've been on the verge of, like, really accepting defeat with this and just, like, wallowing. But I ain't in the business of that giving up shit, okay? I ain't like that. I ain't doing it. I ain't done it before, and all of my other comeuppances and downtrodden times, I ain't gonna do it now, even though it might be part of the most difficult thing, or, I mean, it might be part of the most difficult trial of my entire life, is getting over this debt and getting this stupid fucking charge dismissed. I honestly still sometimes have these very real, they're real, but very surreal, like, mental moments where it doesn't feel like a real thing that's happening. It feels like a dream that I'm just kind of waltzing through. But all in all that's really going to be needed is that I need to do community service, and I have to take an anger management course, which starts this Wednesday. Actually, funnily enough, the contract hasn't even been furnished for this yet, and we're almost a month removed from the court date. So I'm hoping by later on today, since it is Monday, the lady who's handling all of it will be able to send me the contract or whatever they need to do to get that to me so I can sign it and start getting my fucking life together with all of this. Because frankly, I'm mad. I'm mad at all of this. I am mad at all of this. I also tried reapplying at my old job too, and they didn't immediately disqualify me. They said they would hold on to my resume, but apparently the position that I applied for was already filled or whatever, and the HR lady emailed and was like, hey, so sorry, we already filled this. We're going to keep your resume, even though you worked here and you literally wouldn't even have to train me to send me a fucking computer so I can get my life back together. Yeah? Anyway. Whatever. Right? Whatever. All in all, I'm doing really good. Comparatively, anyway. I just went to a concert, what is now yesterday, May 4th. Saw some good friends, had some good hangs. And it was very, very cool. Saw Loathe again, too. I don't know if anybody on YouTube even has me on Facebook, but I posted the pictures for the Loathe concert, and me and my family went, and it was great. It was lovely. Anyway, I'm doing comparatively well. I'm positive about the future, even if every bone in my body is screaming at me to give up. I will not. I will not. Like I said in the very first video of these, I wanted to continue uploading these sort of things, and by the time you see this, it would be way in the future compared to when it was actually recorded. So I'm going to keep recording these until the entirety of the thing is over with. And by that point, the series will end. And that would be the end of that. And then the saga of the existence of this entire period will be totally over. And it's not even just that they'll be dropped. The charges will be totally dismissed. And apparently a dismissal is significantly better than a drop. A drop just means they're not going to pursue the charges even if they had evidence. A dismissal is that the prosecution couldn't even procure evidence of the crime that I committed. But I literally didn't even commit a crime. I still am. That's neither here nor there. Things are going good. I'm positive. I'm having a relatively okay time. And that will be the end of this little small reflective update. Again, I plan on recording more of these until the very end of all of this, so the entire saga is roughly documented, at least from my perspective anyway. Alright, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye. The button's stuck, it won't stop.